Morning, we're gonna go ahead and kind of get things going. We certainly appreciative for the little fellowship that we had this morning, and certainly glad to see everybody today as we get ready to open our meeting up this morning. If you don't mind, Supervisor Howard, lead us in prayer this morning.
Yeah. Would you bow your heads this morning? This morning, our Heavenly Father, we come to thank you for all your many blessings. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the protection that you've given us. Dear Heavenly Father, now we pray that you will forgive us of all our many sins. Dear Heavenly Father, strengthen us where we're weak and build us up where we're torn down. Dear Heavenly Father, now we pray for our military soldiers, and we pray for the ones that stand abroad for our freedom. Dear Heavenly Father, we pray that the decisions we make around this table be pleasing in your sight and beneficial to the people of Octavia County. Now, dear Heavenly Father, we pray for leaders on the national level, on the state level, and on the local level. These and all other blessings we ask in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Supervisor Howard.
Yes, sir.
At this time, we hope and pray that everybody has an agenda. We'll try to stick to our agenda as close as we can. We do have a few adjustments, and we'll deal with those adjustments as we get to them. The first item of business is dealing with the November 22 board order. What's the pleasure of the board as it relates to those board orders from November?
I'll make motion for approval.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by their public voting sign. Motion passes unanimous. At this time, we've allotted some time for citizen comment period. Are there any citizens that are here this morning that are not on the agenda that would like to approach the board for up to 3 minutes? You may come forward at this time. We certainly want to acknowledge the fact that we do have a state championship team in our county. I think it'll be in order for us to pass a resolution commending the Starkville High School Yellow Jackets on their being crowned the 2022 Class 6A state champion.
Good.
With that being said, we got a motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by their public voting sign. Motion passes unanimously. Moving right along, Ms. Fran Brock, Extension update. Good morning, good morning.
And the extension service.
And the extension service.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Give everybody a book.
Oh.
First, well, we're here today to give you an update on extension. We want to say thank you so much for our new building. We really, really, really like the new building. Never just, y'all just don't know how much.
Okay, no, we good.
Oh, okay. Some of the highlights, we've been really busy this year. We kind of slowed down during COVID, but our bosses told us we need to start picking things back up, so that's what we've been doing. As of right now, with 4-H, we have 265 members. We have 12 clubs. I'm sorry. I don't know if everybody, this is our new 4-H agent, Thad Moody. He started back in January. He's been busy since he got here. So one of the things he's done is start a new club. He's a avid fisherman, I guess we can call him that. So he started a kayaking and fishing club, and it's been taking, a lot of kids have joined that, and he's teaching them. I guess y'all just, well, you can tell more about that. But and we, like I said, we have 12 clubs. We also have kids that's competing on the local, state, and national levels. We had 2 kids that actually went to National Congress this past week. They just got back this past week. We've had several kids that qualified for the National Shooting Sports team, Mississippi National Shooting Sports team that's held in Nebraska area. As far as an ag, Thomas works with we have ag club. I don't know if y'all know about that. It's like a 50-year-old club. They meet once a month, and they usually just have different speakers come. He also works with master gardeners, foresters, and the cattlemen. As far as master gardeners, when Thomas got here, we had 15 members. As of right now, we have 55 members. So over that time, master gardeners have increased. We also had the Forester of the Year for the state of Mississippi here in Octavia County. Oswald. Yes, Donald Oswald. He also works with UCAC, which is the Minority Farmers Corporation. And they do a lot of work together. As far as me, in family consumer science, I teach a lot of, I teach service. Like we have had several businesses business owners, either private business owner or public business owner who has come through the extension office to get ServSafe certified in food safety. I also teach, work with Habitat for Humanity, teach their financial management classes to their recipients. I'm just trying to think of stuff. Child development, child caregivers training. All of this is in this book, but child caregivers training, several individuals have gone through child caregivers training because in order for them to keep their license, they have to have CEU credits. So they come through the extension service to get those credits. One of the biggest programs that we did this year, we started and we're going to continue, it's called Dining with Diabetes. And it was a grant program. The focus this year was targeted toward African American churches. So we had 30 members from Occupy County who went through a 7-week program. It was 4 lessons, and we also did 2 cooking demonstrations where they received the food, received a fitness tracker, and things like that. But this time when we do it again, we won't have the money for it. But we'll still do the program. We just won't have the money for the food demonstration part. We'll still do the food demonstration. And starting in January, we'll do this same program with J.L. King Center. It's going to be a 6-week program with J.L. King Center clients. Do y'all have anything y'all want to say? Also with Thomas, one of the things they try to do with community outreach with UCAC is doing the community gardens. So they have started community gardens at the Head Start, J.L. King Center, the Child Development Center, and Sudden. I'm trying to remember everything. And Sudden Elementary School. So they have started gardens on that. And one of the great things that they're doing with the gardens, they're trying to fix the problem of Occupy County being a food desert. So they're trying to start a farmer's market for that area because a lot of people from the west side don't go to the regular food market. Farmer's market. So they're trying to start one over there, I think. So do y'all have any questions or anything?
I think you covered it all.
I think so.
Certainly
Y'all have
appreciate
anything
everything.
else to say?
Thank y'all for y'all
They made
support.
me talk.
Thank
Thank y'all.
Thank you so much.
Certainly appreciate you all being here. If not, let's get a motion and a second to acknowledge your report. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously. Moving along to the next item of business, Hub International, Occupy County Insurance. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Y'all
Doing great. How about yourself?
doing well.
Good.
Look, we just wanted to come back by and say thank y'all for trusting us to take care of y'all. Also brought a couple other people, Mr. Grant Brown, also with our company. How y'all doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good
Thank
see
y'all
you.
had met last time. Randy Ladner from Aflac,
Good morning.
Matthew from Blue Cross.
How you doing?
So we want to come by, any questions y'all may have. We want to be here for you and for your employees to answer questions. I know it kind of went whirlwind, but I think implementation has gone exceedingly well. But here to answer any questions y'all may have.
I have one. Is this the new dental thing that came through?
We are your new dental reps, yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
okay. What about the cards?
They'll be in within 10 days.
Yeah.
10 days, okay.
They have already been mailed out, so you should receive a
Okay.
card within 10 days.
They should be in anytime.
If you
And,
need to, you can get
I
temporary.
think we also have, you should be able to access the portal. Is that correct, Randy?
That's correct. Anybody that has coverage should be able to access the portal right now.
Any other questions y'all have? We're mainly here just to be here for y'all. So,
Sounds
I
good.
think you cleared up a lot. Like I said, we certainly appreciate you. for
well,
your
we
service.
appreciate everything. I have a couple little Christmas goodies. I'm gonna leave them back at your office, I believe. I think Randy had brought y'all some little goodies that he's gonna go ahead and leave with y'all now.
Seems like you got
little gifts from Aflac.
a team backing
We
you.
want to encourage participation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Brush your teeth.
we're here for y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Y'all have any questions in regards to your Blue Cross plan or anything like that? Because Matthew and myself are both here, and we just have to field those questions or get answers for you for anything in that regard. We just wanted to be sure that y'all met the entire team that is servicing your account in regards to the insurance carriers and those of us at Hub, so.
This is part of the team. There's a lot more
Yeah,
people
there's a
back
lot
at
more
home
people,
that that don't travel with us, but,
I've heard some of our names spoken. I couldn't be at the last meeting personally because I was out of town on vacation, but wanted to be sure that we met you guys and gave you guys just some clarity and you know, so you have full acknowledgement of who is working on your team and supporting you guys, and we appreciate your business, and thank you for having us.
We certainly appreciate you all. Looking forward to working with you all.
thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
And look, we're gonna stick around for a little while. Do you know where you want us to kind of be for a minute? I know we wanted to be available to y'all's employees if they had any questions.
Okay, I'll meet you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
You all have a great day. All right, moving right along to next item. Ms. Barbara Kuban, real and personal assessment changes. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Just have some assessment changes for you guys to approve.
You have the assessment changes in your packet. What's the pleasure of the board?
I make a
by
motion
Supervisor
for
Montgomery,
approval.
second by Supervisor Howard, that we approve the payroll assessment changes, correction. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Ms. Farmer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barr. Moving right along to the next item of business, is Ms. Benson here? Ms. Benson, good morning, Ms. Benson and Mr. Cross.
How are you?
Good
I am
morning.
good. More importantly, how are y'all?
Doing well.
Well,
Came this morning to present the access agreement for the Brownfield project, which will allow the Golden Triangle Planning and Development District's consultant to have access to the facility. So I sent it over last week. I don't know if you all have had a chance to look at it or if legal counsel has had an opportunity to look at it. But our consultant is on board, ready to get started. We just need a verbal approval today and then followed up by the signatures on the access agreement.
We move forward.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the motion?
Well, I did have some questions about phase one. It seems like they are going to do an extensive amount of work at phase one.
Phase one is where they look at the facility. And when I say they look
Right.
at it, it's more than just a physical. They actually do research
Right,
on
that's
the facility to determine whether or not there is enough information to actually go in and start the sampling process. You know, this is our second brownfield grant, and yes, we have had projects where they only completed a phase one because the documentation just did
Right.
not prove to provide enough information that there would be contamination. So right now, we don't know that there is any
And
contamination.
I guess that was part of my question was, after they conduct phase one, will they also do
Phase two.
for the removal of any of
Phase
the,
two is sampling,
sampling?
where they actually determine what the contaminants are, and they'll also provide a cost estimate for cleanup. So now this grant is only for phase one and phase two,
not the abatement.
not to the abatement, correct. Now you can turn around and apply for a grant for the abatement, but that is something that you as the applicant or owner of the building would do. It is not part of Golden Triangle Planning and Development District's assessment grant. Because right now, before you can let anyone go in there and start any abatement process, you have to know what there is.
Right.
So the assessment, phase one and phase two, will actually determine what contaminants are present, if any. So, I mean, you know, we all think that there's something there, probably nothing more than asbestos, but we just don't know. You know, there could have been some generators used, so therefore there could have been some tanks somewhere that had some type of petroleum or something of that nature. We just have got to get in there and actually determine what the problem is, and then it will pull together a plan of remediation. So, Okay.
Sounds great. Any more
All right.
questions, comments?
I'll just pass that down.
If not, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be known by the proper voting sign. Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Thank you, Mr. Joe. Mr. Clyde Pritchard, Pritchard Engineer, you can come forward.
I'm good if you wanna stay on agenda, y'all are ahead.
Oh, well, come on. Yes, sir. We need to hold the man up when he got somewhere he would like to be. Come on along.
Well, I appreciate that. First topic for discussion this morning is, Mississippi State retained, Neil Schaefer to design a crosswalk on Blackjack. Do y'all have a copy of that?
Yes, sir.
Map?
I think they want to do it with their own.
This would be east of the roundabout, and the issue they're trying to address is they have quite a few students from the apartment complexes cutting through the store, cutting across Blackjack, and they're trying to provide them a pedestrian crossing. So they have paid for the engineering. I understand that they have a contractor now on board, they're ready to install, but this is on a county road, and they need your permission to install.
Sounds good. You all heard the request. What's the pleasure vote? Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the request? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper voting sign.
Very good. I'll let them know today to move forward. Only other issue I have pending at this time is your bid on Octok Road. Is there any decision, anything y'all would like to do with that?
I'm gonna motion that we move forward, with the approval of the payment of Octot Road project with the November 2022 revision.
Got a motion by Supervisor Williams. Is there a second to the motion? Second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion?
The
Question?
only question is, with the money, the million that he got, or that we got, excuse me, and then the other monies, I mean, is this within your bond money and your county money? I'm just asking.
The 1.9 is the only thing that's in question, and everything else is accounted for by state aid.
Right. I was just,
but-
I mean, I was just gonna clear up the 1.9, is that gonna come out of your bond? Out of your share of the bond?
Not the 1.9. We had hoped that the offer money that we had approved that the board transferred over would be used as the million, and the county would have to take care of the 936,000.
So are you saying that the ARPA funds that's been allocated already, you wanna get them back and put it on that project?
We're only the ones that have already been approved for District 5. We've had $1 million approved for District 5.
Correct. Yeah.
Right, correct.
So that's that.
But the
That's the
1.9
1.9. Yeah.
is coming from the, you know, we do still have the bond proceeds sitting out there. I just wanna make sure,
I
and I
guess,
guess ask our county administrators to where is this gonna come from, is the,
Now, I've found all the extra I could that I mentioned. As far as that million with the offer, the board would need to do, and Phyllis and I, we've been talking in supervisor training, I did. One of the assumption that because we took the loss in revenue, that opened up the guidelines for using the funds, so Phyllis has been trying to figure out who to write to get the approval to use funds. That being said, all the board would need to do is put an order in place to release the million of offer to, you know, whatever project you're doing. So-
Well, I think there's enough research has been done to verify the fact that that 1 million could be used toward this project.
Yeah.
And state aid knows, this comes from state aid, so they are familiar with the fact that 1 million is being asked for.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm
Enough
sort of
research,
like
yeah.
Supervisor Montgomery. Given that being said, have you identified all the funding you need for this project, I guess? is-
Yes.
Okay.
which would be, so the 1.9 million, would that again come from bond proceeds? Or where is that gonna, does he not have the one, I thought he had a balance.
I think
Total
that,
cost of the project.
let's go over the,
3.6 million.
let's go over the previous statement that has already been said. Enough research has already been done to justify that the 1 million from off fund can be used as that 1 million, and the county being me, of course, would be responsible for the 936,000. So I don't see no problem with that. State aid knows, they the one that completed this document, as whether or not, enough research has already been done to verify that.
Help us out, Clyde, where is that, how's it breaking down a little bit?
It's breaking down, there's $1 million from your Senate bill,
Okay,
$1 million that we
The
are
ARPA,
working
that's
of
two.
ARPA,
okay.
936, 739 county, whether it's
And he's,
bond, road, whatever, and then 1,147,000 from state aid.
The 936,000 does not affect you as other board members.
I understand, I
That's
understand.
that's coming from my budget.
Right. The state aid money, I guess, is the only one in question now. Is that saying that you will receive the entire allotment for Octavia County, state aid?
Only state aid knows that. I didn't fill this document out.
I mean, I know
That's
you
a-
will.
Is that what we're saying, Clyde? That the
That-
entire allotment for Octavia
That's
County?
Mr. Harry Lee James looking at what Octavia County has for available state aid funds and saying Octavia County has enough state aid funds to do this.
If we decide to vote to do it, put it all on that project.
That's correct.
And I know I had 400 something set aside for a bridge, but right now this project is,
Now, he should have, and I'm not had specifically, but he should have already deducted the jobs that you have programmed already.
see, my job's not programmed enough.
Yours is. The
the Maven Sturgis is
Maven
already
Sturgis.
deducted out of the state.
And you've
aid.
got 2 bridges already programmed, one Harris and Sturgis West Point,
Yeah,
something. So you've got 3 projects that are already programmed. This would have been the balance of the state aid money that the county had.
I'm just making sure throughout the county that that's not gonna torpedo a project, my district, his district, any other district.
It
I'm
should
just-
not torpedo anything that's already programmed. It could impact anything for this
That
term in
any
the
wish
future.
list
In the
that
wish list.
needs state aid funding, such as
Now-
Maven Bell.
I think there are a lot like y'all are. There's a lot of funding floating around out there that they feel like is about to be obligated or soon to be obligated, particularly with roads and bridges and bridges, you know, specifically. So again, Mr. Joe is correct in that they developed this, they were comfortable doing this. But you do know that Mr. Lee and State Aid has already encouraged y'all to treat it as county state aid funds and not 5 district state aid funds.
And I guess
That's
and that's what I was trying to say, is
understandable. At some
this
point-
document is not
At
coming
some point,
from,
all state aid funding is gotta stop going to certain areas. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is regards to what Mr. Harry Lee has said, and I understand that. But this board has not said, okay, Supervisor Williams, we're gonna give you all of that state aid money. That, the board has not said that, so I'm wondering, how do you just go ahead and program it without the approval of the board?
I think that's what we're
well,
waiting on this morning.
keep in mind that I'm not the one that programmed this, and Mr. Pritchard is not the one that did the program. State aid is the one that did the
State aid
program.
saying that's what we gonna get. That's the monies that we got available.
That's our balance.
But the board has not said that's what we gonna program
And
the state aid
I think
funding.
I think if we be understanding, we'll realize that programs that already been programmed would not be affected. Now, wish list, that's something else. Now,
The
whether you
ones
can,
like the Maven Bell Road that needs state aid funding to be redone, then it's out.
I'm gonna have to
Well,
table
one
this
line of
until I look at
correction,
it
Supervisor
further.
Howard, he's not said that this is all your monies. He just said that much is available to make up the project. So I don't know if there's,
Well,
Any
can you
other-
find out how much all of our money is then?
that would, yeah, we can make a call and see.
I would like to know what all of our money is. I mean,
So but I don't know that, as I said here right now. That's all of your remaining money.
and I understand all you're saying, but what I am saying is this board has not voted to say we're gonna put all the remaining state aid money on this project. I do understand that the jobs that has been programmed, and I'm not trying to kill your project, but I do want to say that this board has to agree to put this funding on this project. We can't just go and start programming projects and the board hadn't agreed to it. We've agreed to all the other projects, didn't we?
Right. Well, in lieu of where we are right now, what would it take for y'all to go ahead and approve this project today?
I wanna be able to look at our bond funds, what we still got available, state aid, I mean, everything, and be able to see what is available and what it may or may not cost us in the future, as far as projects are concerned.
And the reason why I'm saying it is because I know it's gonna take, I had some money allocated for state aid, but as I said before, this project takes priority because this project is on the table. My other project I got here hadn't been programmed, it's just an idea. So I don't have a problem with shifting that to this project because the term is about to be out next year anyway, and then we're gonna start a new term, and then we start a new term with a whole different perspective on what we're gonna do. My suggestion for the board would be go ahead and approve this project, and then when we get to projects after this, take this under consideration. If Maven Bell Schoolhouse is the priority, next priority. then
And
that'll
I
be the
have
next
no
project.
problem with that, but that never happens. That's what my problem is. And here's the other thing, as soon as this one get approved, you can bet there's gonna be another money grab at some remaining ARPA funding. I can guarantee you.
But we've already allotted some for the
Yeah.
lake, right?
Yeah,
We've
we
already-
have. We
And on,
have.
and on the other money that we can get, we'd have to get it from the project that we got for wastewater.
If we can, if three votes can stick with that.
I don't think it'll be a problem, but I'm saying we need to go ahead and move forward and just approve it, and then we'll, because it's on the table.
And then
I
I know you said that you're
I'll
not
table it
trying
till
to,
next meeting.
kill the project, but without these funding as it is, you would kill the project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do understand that, but that means Maven Bell is just completely out.
Why,
I mean,
Maven
it's
Bell, why
not
can't
going.
it take the next priority after we get this off the table?
Listen, I've been a good team player, I feel like, through this whole process since I've been on this board. But at some point, we got to get some equilibrium.
Well, I know,
into
so
these
once we get this,
districts.
then we'll focus on Maven Bell. And we'll pass a board order prioritizing Maven Bell.
I don't wanna kill the project, I don't have that intention, I think it's just the wording and where the funding's coming from. In other words, Maben Sturgis Road that I did, I know that the ARPA is $1 million and we got $1 million from the state, but I'm under the understanding, and it's always been that way, that I couldn't say, well, the excess over the top of that comes from state aid. The only conversation that's been had is that anything above that comes from my county monies or my the bond proceeds. So, and when I say mine, I'm not saying mine.
Right.
I say the bond proceeds. So I think it's just the wording in that, and that's why I've asked that question several times, is the remainder gonna come from the bond proceeds, and I can't get a clear answer on that. So until I do, I'm gonna have to table it.
I think it can. I mean, I think at the point, it can come from there, it can come from ARPA, it can come from other sources.
Well, then it needs to be stated in our board order that the remainder would come from bond proceeds.
I don't understand how these jobs go ahead and get programmed without the board's approval. I get programmed and put out for
This
bid.
job has been big.
I know it is, no it has.
Yeah, you're using the program, Supervisor Howard, but it was programmed way back before costs escalated.
Escalated.
And this, so
That's
what,
not-
what they've done is gone ahead and bid it, And then this is really not a revised program, it's a board order that says here's how you're gonna pay for it.
Right, that's what
I
I'm
get
saying.
that. I think it's just, what Supervisor Howard's concern is, it's just totally depleted our state aid budget. Completely.
But, you got Mr.
Is
Lopez.
that a true statement?
Supervisor Montgomery, I know you keep mentioning the bond proceeds, that's already been allocated. The only, you're talking about the last bond that we got about the
Yeah.
building, yeah, so that's already allocated out. to
So that's
the
been spent?
Not
or-
spent, but allocated out,
I would like that,
So
I
it's
guess that would
already
be
been accounted
my
for.
question to,
so there's no,
is that,
the
how
only
does-
extra that's sitting is the 500,000 you all reserved for the building. Until we get into that, but as far as what each district received, and that's on that sheet that I give you, which you got from the bond proceeds.
So each district's allocation of the bond money,
I think it came 1.9, maybe some, I'm not for sure. But, that's on that revised sheet to tell you where you are, how much you have in your district, that's on that.
well, and again, not so much the district, but just the bond proceeds.
Okay.
And, you know, you can say, well, you can't talk about it's in each district. We're not talking about that, but we are talking about the allocation of that monies. And so we have to be fair to the citizens throughout the county. So, again, my question is the remainder of that balance able to be covered by bond proceeds?
The question is no. This is a $4 million project, over $4 million project. There's not enough bond proceeds left
So
to
if
be
I
able
come-
to be able to cover it. After I put in the 936,000, it wouldn't be no more than $700,000 left to do anything else with. And there are some pressing projects that have to be done with that 700,000. If you all feel a need to take that, fine. But we did say that 1.9 will be covered by the county. The county can't really cover that. The county cannot cover that out of my budget now. Not out of my budget. It cannot do that. So, in essence, that will kill the project because there's not enough fund available to be
So-
able to cover all that $4 million.
And again, we're trying to push things over the line, but if Supervisor Howard comes and says, I got a $5 million project, and it's a pressing need, whatever that project may be, or if I come forward, or Supervisor Trainer or Supervisor Miller comes to our next board meeting, and if we don't approve this, it's just gonna kill that project. You've gotta understand the situation that we're in now. I mean, that role could be reversed in 2 weeks, or we're gonna push the next $5 million project across the line. That just, Clyde, you've said before, these projects aren't gonna be let until really summer.
This project is lit.
Already there.
But I'm saying, you're not gonna see construction until late spring or summer.
Well-
So I don't think, tabling it today and coming back and having a clear understanding of how this funding is gonna be put in each piece of this project, monetarily wise, state aid, county money, ARPA money, Senate bill money. I just want a clear understanding of how doing this project is gonna affect future projects throughout the county. And I don't think you're not killing this project by tabling it for 2 weeks.
Well, you
You're
have
not.
just so everybody understands, you have a November 17th bid date.
Mhm.
That bid's good for 60 days.
And so,
So we're about to, by the next board meeting, y'all will be half that.
yeah, 19th of
30th.
December, we'll be back here. That's 32 days. We can make a decision then as easily as we can now. I don't think it's gonna push the project back a day, would it?
It would. if you made a decision on the 19th, we send that decision to state aid. They concur with whatever you put before. At that time, we send actual contracts to the contractor. He gets his bonds, feeds them back to us. State aid approves. So your holidays figured in, you're probably 2 months after that before you actually put work on the ground.
February, middle of
February, March, they would start base repair and leveling and things that they could do in the weather that they had.
Well, I listen, I like to see the county get projects. But I'm sitting here saying, okay, $6 million of the ARPA money has went down there. Granted, $5 million for the sewage, but $1 million went there. Then another $2 million, $1.7 something of bond money went there. Now you're asking for another 1.3 million of the state aid money to go there. Like Supervisor Montgomery said, taxpayers are all over this county. And at some point, we've got to speak up for the taxpayers in other areas of this county and stop just letting all the money go one direction. I mean, it's not fair. We've worked with this board. I'm here to say there's been a ton of money that has went down there in that district, a ton of money.
Well,
And there's been a lot less money back on the western end of Duval County.
Well, not to be fair with that, we'd have to look at everything, but this project is on the table right now. What if we took some of the money away from the wastewater project to make this project show up so we can go ahead and move forward with it? You said that wastewater money is going in District 5.
Well,
Just
it's
back
going
off-
in all three.
Back off that and put this to this project, which is on the table right now.
I would rather do that,
So we can
and
move
then
forward.
let's talk about our state aid money, so
Well-
we can try to get some other projects done too, so we don't just deplete the whole thing on one project.
Well, Supervisor Williams, will you accept a friendly amendment to amend that to allow the balance to come out of ARPA and take it away from the wastewater project so we can move this project forward?
Well,
Because ARPA, I mean, it hadn't been, nothing's been let, nothing's been bidded on.
Exactly.
This project is on the table. And then the time value of money, when we first started talking about this, what was the figure, Mr. Bridges? When we first started talking about doing our top,
$1.6 million.
and now it's what, 3.6?
it's 4 million,
Yeah.
including everything. Including everything is
So
4
the
million.
time-
Well, I can go with that. I can go with that. I mean, if Supervisor Williams want to get his project done, I don't think he should have a problem.
That's the only thing I
with
see
doing
right
it
now,
that
Sal,
way.
is either not.
So say that again, then you would
Whatever the
need-
difference that this project has to have, put it out of ARPA, out of the ARPA allocation, that's going toward wastewater.
I'll do that.
Well,
And look,
I'll do
I
that.
think that,
I think that it's
we don't,
better served to do
do
just.
we have to make a decision? We don't have to make a decision today. So,
Can I say something?
I
You kind
don't
of
know how to
need,
change, you get 5 people.
you need to decide what you're gonna do with the East Off Hip-Hop Waste, because I talked to Mr. Dwight, and he's needing to get the board order to the state.
I'm
because the
sorry, I
state
don't
is
wanna see a
master-
dime go to that.
Okay, well, whatever the board give him is what the state is gonna give him, so he needs to know.
Well, if
It's up to me
if
when none of it go to it.
4 million is a lot better than 1 million, what he 1.6, what he originally came asking for. So now 4 million, if we can get him matching 4 million, that's $8 million. We get Supervisor Williams' project done, and we keep moving.
And we stay
I mean,
fair to the other
we stay fair
citizens
to
throughout
everybody
this
else.
county.
Those are just the type of decisions we have to make. You know, we don't always just stick to what Supervisor Williams got a project that needs to get done. We figured out a way to get it done and continue forward with some other projects. I don't see a problem with it.
since we didn't get a second, I'm a motion that we just table until.
I second, yeah, we got a motion and a second.
Okay.
Well, we got an amendment, so that was my amendment to the motion. So I don't know whether we got a second on the amendment or not.
Yes, second? Yeah.
Okay, we got a second on the amendment. Discussion.
Well, I'd like to just go ahead on and discuss the possibility of acquiring additional funds. Because the legislators are going into session at the first of the year, and we can talk about the possibility of additional monies available that might be available. as a result of talking to our state representatives. So there's a lot of different possibilities other than using the fund that we're going to use for wastewater. So I don't think that's a good friendly amendment there. So I'm going to renege on that as being an amendment.
Okay.
Just understand, by the time the legislature meets, this bid will no longer be valid.
Okay, I know. Any more discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, let me know by proper vote sign.
So we're in favor of the motion that it would come from the
ARPA
ARPA.
money,
I'll take the,
How much exactly?
whatever the difference is.
whatever the difference is, as much as we can get out of there.
All those opposed? Motion passed 3-1. So, Mr. Pritchard, you can move forward. I'm ready to sign.
I'll need a signature, and Miss Sharon, I'll need your stamp, please.
I'll come
How
for
much,
this
what's the
tomorrow.
difference? I'm saying
Tomorrow.
that.
It was 1.7 million that came from
Before
state.
deer hunting time,
That's
yeah.
what they want to replace it to ARPA, so 2.1, 2.1,
Let's do
5
the
million
number.
from ARPA instead of 1.
From that 5.
For an additional 1.147 from the 5.
1.5.
So
now
he'll get 3.5.
So maybe get with him on a
3.5.
project between now and next board meeting.
Any more questions for Mr. Pritchard?
I did.
If not, Mr. Pritchard, we certainly appreciate you being here this morning.
I appreciate
Looking
y'all.
forward to the project moving forward.
Hey, do you know
Let the good times roll.
on just the,
We could stop at my office and get them to stamp it.
I
do you
already
know,
have 400 something. I already have 400
the
something
time
thousand
frame
off from
when they
state
may
aid
come
dollars.
through and sweep the roads?
So that would not be included on the
What do they
1.1.
need it to?
So you have to take.
I mean, just
take
a,
that
like a
400
thing to
away
sweep the
because that-
Well, they
right
want to
away.
sweep
Yeah,
it
that's
like
it
the
anyway.
convention.
That's fine, I'm just my.
I got you, I got you. So there's
My
no,
state aid
so
lot.
it doesn't.
That's right.
I
Yeah,
got
it's
you.
400 and something.
All right, thank
So
y'all.
that-
All right, thank you.
Saying that, in a board order, specifying exactly how much going to East Oak Hospital.
On defense all the time.
Okay, now here's the board order we need.
Yes, sir.
We need a board order specifying the exact amount that's going to East Octavia Hall wastewater district with the adjustment, and that is,
It was 3.5.
Sounds like 3.5 now.
okay,
You're gonna take 1.5 and.
that's
So they
3.5.
would end up, Octop end up with 2.5 actually.
Right, that's the ARPA money.
So the.
And that's right now.
Now
Yeah.
is down to 3.5.
So get your project.
3.5, and then also
That's
that
what you're doing.
whatever the allotment, well, I hate to say it, but I mean, I don't even have to say that because the money is not District 2, the money is in state aid. So we just need to make sure that we comfortable with the money that's coming out of state aid. And I already know that part of what I had been allocated was gonna go toward that. My
Well,
part.
I mean, now you can go ahead and get your bridge back in the hopper.
Well, see, it's not gonna happen the next term anyway. I mean, you know, with the
All
term,
that
it's
can
not
wait.
gonna happen next
Those wish lists
Yeah.
can wait
That's not
anyway.
gonna
I
happen.
mean,
Yeah,
that just,
all of them, Octop
that
Road
just
too.
kind of being selfish in a way.
term. All right, can we get a motion second to that effect? Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote sign. Motion
Aye.
passes unanimously.
We ain't done yet.
To East.
So East Oak Hall gets 3.5 million of opera. That's what this,
Right now.
All right, moving right along. Anything else concerning that? Certainly appreciate that. Moving right along to Mr. Major Design. Old hospital demolition RFP update.
All right.
Good morning, Mr. Atkins.
Good morning.
That was a 3-1.
Right.
He was nagged.
It was a 3-1, 3-1. William.
Good morning.
Both of them, you needed one.
Good to see you this
I got
morning.
that.
Good to see y'all.
Good morning.
Good morning. On the update, I know it was probably mentioned earlier that we had talked with Ms. Phyllis Benson about the money in terms of the grant money for the asbestos removal and those kind of items. Right now, we're currently kind of waiting to hear back from her and kind of get a good update on everything to see how we need to move forward, because the demolition part really can't get started until after we get kind of the removal part completed. So that's kind of what we're looking at, but we are looking at probably about 90 days after we get that removed.
So, right now, we're sort of, the demolition part, the abatement has to be done first.
Yes.
So, from talking with Phyllis, right now, the abatement part is sort of hanging out in the balance because it's either gotta go in with your bid to be bid on to abatement, or she said we could apply for an abatement grant.
That's correct.
But right now, after talking with her, phase 1 and 2 is basically sort of like 2 inspections. The one is phase 1 is to make sure there's a high probability that there is contaminants. Phase 2 is to actually go in and pull the right amount of samples.
That's right.
So then you can either put in your bid that this is what you gotta abate.
Correct.
So I guess right now, what's your thinking? Do you put it in with your bid, or do the board apply for an abatement grant?
Well, the only thing with the abatement grant, I think, she said that grant doesn't occur until this time next year,
Yeah.
We're gonna delay it.
which is gonna delay the project.
So we clear on that.
Right, so he needs to go ahead and add it on your RFP.
Yes.
You need to go ahead and add abatement, once you find out what's gotta be abated.
That's correct. So I guess the next question will be, how quick can she go ahead and get, I think she said they actually had the money to do the testing, the initial testing. So I think once we get that, basically by identifying that there is asbestos, then we can go ahead and put it in our part to go ahead and have a contractor to remove it.
Okay.
And let that just all become part of the demolition as well.
Okay, so that'll be one quote.
One quote.
Okay.
One quote.
So can we approve that now?
Yeah,
Okay. You all heard the request.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard, that we follow that recommendation from Major Designs as relates to this process. Are there any questions concerning the motion?
So give us a time frame on that again. Give me a time frame.
It's about 90 days once now that we're gonna go ahead and put it in ours, we just need to verify with Ms. Phillips, when can they get it tested?
Right, so you'll work with, whenever her portion that she came and discussed with us is completed, and you have that part of the equation, then you can plug that into yours, and
That's
then,
correct.
then
Yes,
we'll
sir.
start taking bids after that comes in.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any more questions concerning the motion?
Are you gonna prepare something for the board to sign, allowing you now to add the abatement within your RFP?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we
So
can
you'll
send
get
something back.
to me, and I'll review it.
And we will also reach out to Archives and History as well and kind of notify them of the intent and fill out the forms for that as well.
Okay.
Sounds good. Any more questions concerning the motion?
I guess will your quote involve the demolition and the cleanup of the lot?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes.
All right. All those in favor, let it be
That's
known by
good.
pro vote sign.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. We certainly appreciate you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
good.
Miss Kristen Campanella.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
How's
Ms.
everybody
Campanella,
doing?
while you getting yourself together, let's get a board order to acknowledge the presence of Hub International this morning. We just need a board order now. Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. All those in favor, let it be known by the pro vote sign. Motion passed unanimously. Good morning.
Good morning. So I was talking to Mr. Lois last week and was talking about some updates that we've got on the grants, and she asked me to come and just kind of give y'all an update on where we were on grants. So hazard mitigation grants, we have 2 state portion. These are both disaster grants that we got from April 2019 and January of 2020. So we've already been paid the federal share of that, so we're getting the state share now. That's about $22,000. We've got the 2 sirens for Maven and Sturgis. The equipment has come in last week, so I'm hoping they're gonna get started depending on this rain, and maybe next week before they get started on those. So those are about 30 apiece, and those are 90-10 grants, so we get 90% of that back. But both of those, like I said, the equipment is in, and we did put on those where those sirens go off automatically, so we won't have to activate them in our office. So they'll be, when the warning is issued for those areas, they'll go off. The generator we got approved for the jail generator, which is about 40. I think that's a 90-10 as well. The safe room, we're still working on getting the paperwork completed for both of those for Maven and Sturgis. Those are about $1 million project apiece. So hopefully that'll be a minute before they approve, because it's a lot more paperwork. I'd rather wait and focus all that at one time.
And I don't mean to interrupt
go
you,
ahead.
Kristen. So on those 2, because there's been some people since these last storms through social media have been really wondering about Maven, Sturgis and those safe room, are they the same size as the one here in Starkville, or?
It will be a little bit smaller than that because it's based off the population of where you place it, and it has to be within 5 minutes. A certain amount of
Right.
people get there, so depending on how many people that is, the size of the safe room that you can build.
And they could be different in Sturgis and Maben, just
Yeah.
depending on,
Yeah.
that number's gonna tell you the size.
And we're arguing for Maben a little because there's so many close counties right there. So some of it's in other counties, but it's still the town of Maben. So we're kind of working through that now because there's not anything right there other than the high school. So it would still benefit Webster, you know, and then on the other side of Choctaw.
Do we
that
have-
they could still get there in time.
Do you have places, land that you're thinking about putting those, or?
So
still-
in Maben, it's gonna be right behind, the place right now is right behind the post office on that concrete slab.
Yes, ma'am.
And then in Sturgis, it's gonna be just inside like we're going down to the park, inside that fence to the right.
Okay.
In that big grass area. And so both of those will be multi-use buildings, so they can use it as a community center or whatever they need it for.
Did you think about any possibility of adding a third one, down to the eastern part of the county?
Yeah, so hazard mitigation grants is where all this money comes from. So every declared disaster that's in Mississippi, every county can apply for those grants that have come from that disaster. So if it's $1 million disaster that costs the state, then 5% of that comes back usually from mitigation money. And everybody in the Mississippi can apply for it. So it's competitive. So if you start thinking about some places where you want to put some on the east side, I'd love to, but we have to have some land identified where that's gonna be. So if you've already got some county space, we can go ahead and put the applications in if y'all can get those identified where you want it. Because when I put it in, I have to tell where I'm gonna put it. 'Cause that's a big part of getting it
How
approved.
big of a portion of land do you need?
It depends on how big you want your safe room to be.
Yeah,
The amount of people.
we got location, the county owns some property in the eastern part,
Okay.
that it could be in. That building is, what's the dimension of that?
Of which one?
Measurement of the building that
Maven
we're
and
talking
Sturgis?
about, yeah.
We've got that one to house about 1,000 people apiece. So I don't have the dimensions yet because we hadn't gotten to that phase where we're actually doing the engineering side.
Right.
We just kind of gave them a rough layout of kind of what we're looking at, and then how many people. The population is what we're going through now.
Yeah.
So once they determine that population they agree with, then they'll tell us what size we can build. But we put in a request for $1 million in each of those. I think the one on Lynn was around 2.5 or 3 million. I think it cost to build that one.
We paid like 300.
That one was a 75-25 grant. And most everything that's coming out is a 90-10. So that's why we're glad to hopefully can get this pushed through so we can get the 90-10 on those.
Yeah, I thought we had previous communication about.
Yeah, we have.
About a building on the eastern side.
Yeah,
and-
I just need to know
and
if you've
I-
got a spot already identified, because I had to put in, when I put in the application, I had to have a GPS. And then put all the pre-stuff of the population and all that has to be on the pre-application. So if
And I
you've
don't
got
know,
that, then,
it would help if you gave some idea about the dimensions of the building
Yeah.
that you had in mind. If we had some type of idea about the size of the
have
building.
you already got a spot
roughly.
that you're wanting to place one?
Yeah, well, the county has a building out by, on Mohai Road.
A building's already there? 'Cause
no,
that's a
it's
different
property.
type of project if
Property.
you gotta tear something down. Okay,
Property
okay.
already there,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, if y'all want me to do that, I can. I just need to know where it's at so I can submit it. If you want me to submit one, I can. The thing is, hazard mitigation money, so COVID, think about the amount of money the state spent for COVID. 5% of that is eventually gonna come for hazard mitigation money. So that's gonna be a good amount of money. So if we can go ahead and have the legwork done, when they open it up, we can submit it.
Right,
We'll be ahead of it a little bit.
okay.
I'm all for it.
When,
Yeah.
when do you need that information
As
about
soon
the
as you wanna get it to
location?
me, cause I can put in if y'all want me to go ahead and do that as soon as you put it to me.
So,
Do you need a
Today-
board order to
Probably,
move forward?
yeah.
yeah, move forward with the understanding that the eastern part will give some, location, will give you a location about the third building,
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
locations, could be two or,
Yeah,
you know.
I'd love to have one on both the south and the north end of the east side.
Okay.
You know, because now we'll have one on the south and north and the west, and then we have the one in Starkville that kind of covers us countywide. I mean, nothing's gonna, for every single person in Ottaville County, there's no
Right,
way we're gonna house
right,
50,000 people,
right.
but that way we at least got 5
More
of them.
locations is better, cause you got folks,
Yeah.
they don't have to travel as far, you know.
And the individual safe room program that we hadn't had since Katrina, I think the one they stopped it for us was around 2010, 2010 or 2012 when that money ran out. So that program is starting to come back in Mississippi. We haven't been open up to that yet because it was certain disasters last year, I think storms, where they've opened that up to those counties first. But I think they've seen the need for that. I forgot how many applications they had, but it exceeded their amount of what they could approve. So now that they see that money, that people want it, that's coming.
Right.
So maybe we'll get that
Would you
again.
do some research and give us a general idea about what you think the size of the building might be, generally?
Yeah, I just need to know where you want to put it,
Mm-hmm.
because the population is what I really need for that area. So if
Mm-hmm.
it's Moorhigh Road, tell me an address or GPS on Moorhigh, and I can go back and with Toby, and he can help me determine how much population is in that area.
Right.
Then that would help me decide on what size building we can do.
Okay.
So you just, yeah, as a crow flies, you just create a,
Yeah, a residential. A rule of thumb is around 5 square feet per person. 10 square feet per person is a certain percentage for people with wheelchairs. So if you kind of think about how many people you got.
So you mentioned this competitive. Is there anything we can do to make Octavia County more competitive when we go after these grants?
I don't think so. I mean, I think everybody's applying for the same pot of money, but the thing with us that where I think we've always been able to apply, because a lot of counties don't have that to go ahead and do it up front. So thankfully, thanks for y'all, we're able to do that. A lot of counties don't have that, so I don't know. $1 million projects, if we've got that to do, I'm not sure every county would be able to do that, because you gotta front that up front.
Right.
And wait on your
Get your
90% to get back, so
Okay.
I think we're a little bit ahead of that now.
Okay.
okay.
Does the property have to be owned by the county? Could it be a public-private partnership or something like that?
If you got agreements in place before we submit, all that would need to be done, because it can't be on the contingent if this gets done.
Right, right.
It all has to be done ahead of time. So we can say, yes, we own this property, or we already have.
Or we
You know,
could
an
buy
agreement in
that
place.
property if we
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
approved,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah.
Of course, that's what I think Maven did, was purchase that property.
And more than the size of the building is, again, I'm just asking, and I'm thinking of the safe room, the acreage that's on, what, 1.5 to 2
Yeah.
acre, couple acres would do it?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's plenty
So I mean,
of
at first, we need to say, hey, this is the land right here. Then the population will decide how big the building is.
Right. And I have asked, we talked a little bit about in District 5 about the possibility of combining that with a fire station, what that
Right,
looks
that's-
like.
well,
And
that's
so
it.
we've asked that, and I'm waiting to get an answer back, because I heard there was a couple on South Mississippi that was damaged from hurricanes, and they were able to build projects like that.
Right.
Where it could be like a 3-bay plus a safe room, but
Right.
I'm waiting to see what that would look
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, and that was the conversation there, because
Yeah.
that area is kind
Yeah,
of
which would be great,
reserved for fire protection. So we can, at the same time, get fire protection
Yeah,
and look out for the
protection.
safety of the residents in that area.
Yeah. So as soon as they let me know that, then I'll have to share that with y'all. When they say we can't do that.
You need information from us
If you
about
got
a
land where you
location
wanna put it, then
before
send
you
me that
submit,
before I
you
submit.
submit,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, y'all fine. So the 2 safe rooms, then I've got Homeland Security grant is 47,800. So we've got that coming, and then about 63,000 in hazardous materials, emergency preparedness grants. So we're about 2,235,000 in grants that we've got coming. So get your pens ready to sign some checks. That's
We
all I've
certainly
got.
appreciate your service. We
Thank
appreciate
y'all.
all you all do.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yes, ma'am, Chris.
We really need to work on getting some lights outside of that safe room. Will you talk to them about that, please?
Yeah, so if there was any way, and we've asked for a lighting plan a while ago from the utilities, but I can ask him, who's there now, to see, because I'm sure he'll be happy to do us one. It is so dark. Nobody goes to that safe room on a pretty day. So it's always dark and raining by the time people get there. This last week when we had the election, there was a lot of people in and out. So I think if we could have some lighting and even a covered, that one long wall where we have a lot of people that drop off with wheelchairs there. But when they come up, it's all in the rain. So and I know it can't be storm proof. There's nothing that's gonna be built like that building. But if there was some kind of awning that we could put over that sidewalk and put some lights around it, because it is pitch black dark out there most of the time when we have it open. So yeah, it's gonna be a problem. Jarvis called a lady one night. He ran out down the sidewalk and caught her before she slipped off, and she was in a wheelchair.
So do we need to get quotes?
I would think so.
If it's okay with the board, Kristen and I would like to work on that, because I came through and there was an incident
Yeah.
actually going on. Sheriff deputy was going out there.
Yeah.
but it is black dark, you can't see anything.
But on that, I think we probably need to look at a security for the building as well. We had a lot of people. We did have a small incident that took place with one of my workers and somebody that was in the safe room. So I think we need some security there.
Can we think about partnering with the city, since, I mean, you know, sort of like some projects we've been doing. I mean, it benefits both, even though it's a county building, it's in the city, and city residents use it.
And Starkville Police Department, they come when we call them, you know, we have an incident there, and of course the Sheriff's Department comes, but it's like when it happens, by the time they get there, a lot of times it could be escalated or it's over with. So I'd rather just, even having a body and a uniform in the room kinda comforts everybody, so, cause there's a lot of people that come in and out.
So maybe you could reach out and their electrical department.
That's what I was talking about, the lighting plan, that's what I would,
Okay, good
and
deal.
see what that would look like.
So with that being said,
Just give her permission.
we want to get a motion and
Follow
second
the
for the administrator and our EMA director to assess the safe room and look at other things, all things that need to enhance the viability of the safe room, from lighting to security to whatever comes about.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public vote. Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Christian. Also, let's get a motion second to acknowledge the report. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the public vote. Passed unanimously. Mr. Baggett, good morning, sir. Come on forward.
Good morning.
Hope everyone's doing
Doing well,
good
doing
this
well.
morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, you have the road manager's report. Questions, comments, additions, or whatever.
I know we do have two additional bus turnaround reports. I don't know what they're in there. They probably not in the road
No.
report, but they're in the package.
I'll make a motion for approval of both the, bus turnarounds. Excuse me.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard, that we approve two bus turnarounds, one at 473 Branson Lane, of course, Starkville, Mississippi, and the other one at 3379 Rockville Road, Starkville, Mississippi. Any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper vote. Motion passed unanimously. Go ahead, Mr. Captain.
Okay, at 81 Ballard Lane, that's adjacent to Patch Station Road. As you know, we did considerable work on Patch Station Road that resulted in an increase of the velocity of water going down that road and the outlets going out from the road. That created a problem for this one particular residence, in that the culvert that was taking the water prior to that will not take the water any longer. And so it blows over the top and washes his drive. And the only challenge with that, I don't know if it's a challenge or not, but it's off the county right of way. And the county would need to go in and upgrade this culvert and clean this outlet out for a stretch of probably 200 feet.
I'll make motion for approval.
Got a motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Howard, that we enter the property of 81 Ballard Lane, I think it's Marcus Dancer, I think is what his name is, and improve this situation for the benefit of the roadway. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper voting sign.
We did receive bids on our equipment, but that was there's kind of a mix-up. No one's fault except the vendor that bidded on the project. And I was waiting for direction from the attorney, so I won't make any recommendations or request anything regarding that today.
Okay. Sounds good. Anything else, Mr. Back?
I believe that's all I have.
On Houston Thompson Road, if you could, and I appreciate y'all getting that done, can they go through there and kind of shore up those edges of the road?
We can, and that's gonna,
Just when it's physically
right.
able to be done.
We're monitoring that road closely, and we're gonna need to do some more rolling and everything on it. But
Especially on the shoulders, you know,
yeah,
down into the ditch, but just when we can. And
right. We'll do that.
I understand
It's
we
gonna
need to
tighten
let
up
it
some.
let it set up just a minute longer, I'm sure, but when you can.
And we were able to finish Jeff Pay Road.
Yes, sir, yes. And people are happy about that, thank you.
I've got, out on Maven Bell, the crews have been cleaning out some outlets, the outlets that let the water leave the roadway. And we've gotta go across a Sherry Harbor property. I'm gonna get in touch with her, make sure it's okay to enter her property, but I need a board order allowing us to enter, to get off the right of way and clean that outlet.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery, that we authorize this project for the benefit of the roadway. Are there any questions concerning this motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
I have one other thing is, and I noticed it when it started raining. If you're going down Blue Field Road, and Longview Road is right here. You know that field that the gentleman right there on the, I guess that'd be the east side of Bluefield Road. They there's two cross drains that come right there, and that gentleman has completely blocked that at the Rogers.
Okay.
If we could go through there and unclog those. If not, it's gonna flood the whole of Sunset. The neighborhood will retain that water. And I'll try to get you an address where it's the nearest house to it, but it's right there within 150 yards of Longview Road. I'll mark it for you.
Thank you.
That's all I've got.
Anything else for?
Well, there have been several covers been approved by the board, have not been installed in District 5, and that's one on Johnson Road, and the other one is on Harris Road. The reason why I'm making mention of that is those individuals are ready to get on their property to do some cleanup. In addition to that, cover request for 909 Bethel Road. Annie Lois Bush, 909 Bethel Road, covered installation.
That's your motion.
Yes.
Got a motion and second to authorize this covered installation at Bethel Road. Ms. Bush, are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously. Anything else from Mr. Back? If not, let's get a motion and second to approve his report. Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. We approve the road manager's report. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, sir. You have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bagley.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey.
Moving to the next item. Ms. Livingston, Chancellor Clerk, please.
One thing, and I will say that we did get a bid for a CD, and Citizens won it at 4.01%.
Okay.
We jumped on it.
That's how it
Yes, indeed.
And you need a motion?
Yeah.
I move we
Motion by
accept that.
that we accept that bid. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Interest is kind of a jumping up thing.
Yes.
Finna get to double digits
Dee
or
and
so.
Lois was excited on that one, and that's all I have.
All right. County business, county administration, Ms. Farmer.
We have payroll changes for approval.
On for approval.
Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Howard. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Credit card charges in the amount of $1,565.50.
Motion by Supervisor Montgomery, second by Supervisor Williams. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Claim docket number 554 through 924 in the amount of $3,089,614.90.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Howard, second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the appropriate voting sign. Motion passes unanimously.
That's all I have.
Okay, moving down to the county business for board attorney. What was the recommendation that we approved this?
Yes, so, for the, To change the hours of operation of the boat status in the county from 3 AM to 1 AM, we would have to do this ordinance. The Department of Revenue said that how we have it right now, it won't work because it specifically has to say resort in the ordinance. The ordinance has been prepared. If you want any changes, please let us know. However, this ordinance does have to run in the paper and have to have a moment to have public input at our next meeting in order for it to move forward. After we get the public opinion, we do have to turn it into the Department of Revenue so that they can okay it. This is the only way to change the hours of operation is to do it like this. He is sorry that it could not be done sooner.
That's fine.
You've had the request, and I think the recommendation is to go ahead and set a public hearing for the changing of operation hours for resort status places of business. Motion by Supervisor Williams, second by Supervisor Howard. Any particular date that we want to set the
I think
public
it's a
hearing?
good ordinance.
He didn't say to me, he didn't say dates yet.
Could we set it for our next meeting?
next meeting will be-
Or would that be too soon?
It has to run at least 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, we
Maybe
might
our
need
first
that
one in
more.
January?
Is
Okay.
there anything gotta be done before the public hearing, or is that
It
the
has
first
to run
thing?
in the paper, so I would give it a little bit more time just because it does have to run in the paper.
For 2 weeks? Is it 2 weeks?
Let's do
But right now, we
Maybe
don't.
our second
We don't.
meeting in
I was
January.
gonna say.
Yeah. I
And
think
that way
would
we
be
can
better.
do it at
We're gonna do the
night
second
and have
meeting in
the
January.
program.
Yeah. Good idea, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It is consistent with the operation of all the other businesses that are serving alcoholic beverages. That is consistent,
What do you mean by that?
that ordinance. When I read the ordinance, so it is consistent as to go to 1 o'clock and everything be off the premises by 1:30.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
The second meeting in January.
So right now, they still got 3 o'clock hours?
Right, that's what
They
we
do,
do.
then.
and it will be continued to be like that until this ordinance goes through.
So you also said the second meeting in January.
I would recommend that and it be at night so that way we can have the big courtroom.
Okay, so right now, the second meeting in January is gonna be, of course, that's Martin Luther King Day, so they have to be on the 18th.
That's the wrong date.
Oh,
That's
okay.
gonna be is that 20?
Yeah, this is 23,
It
but
is 23.
we'll have to have it on the 17th, which is a Tuesday.
Okay, so we'll set the public hearing for January 17th at 5:30 here in our board. And up until then, Patrick, come on forward. Up until then, I think that our approach is we're going to monitor every night, every day, and we're gonna collect data, and we're gonna present that data at the public hearing, so the public will know exactly what we're dealing with. And I think, Patrick, you've been
I have.
kind of following it.
Yes, sir. I went out there and talked with them and everything. But I'm up to date on it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You don't have anything else you need to report?
Yes, sir. I do got one quick
Hold on just a
request.
second. All those in favor of that, let it be known by the proper sign. Motion passed unanimously.
I'm applying for a grant through Core County. It's a $10,000 grant, and I just need the board's permission to go forward with that.
So motion by
That's it.
Supervisor
It's
Howard,
so-
second by Supervisor Montgomery. Are there any questions concerning the motion? All those in favor, let it be known by the proper sign. Motion
Yes.
passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that it?
Yes, sir. That's
Now,
it.
what date is the launching, the dinner?
Which one?
That's this coming Saturday.
Is it this
For
coming
the fire
Saturday?
department.
Yeah, fire department.
Joe Pennell
Got an
invited.
email.
Yes.
He invited the board.
Well, I have about every one of them has a meeting, so I didn't know
Okay,
which one.
okay.
You know, I didn't know if you were which district, but yes, sir. It's Saturday.
Well,
Joe Pennell's got me Saturday.
Well, since you're here,
Little Dewey's
if you
putting
don't
it on.
mind.
Good deal.
Yes, sir.
Since you are here, the possibility of, we talked about a safe room, the possibility of a third safe room
Yes, sir.
out the eastern part of Occidental County, that would involve some of the area that you are affiliated with.
We're working on that. Me and Kristen are working on that about getting the station built out there also. I've been talking with some contractors trying to get some prices on what it's going to cost because, you know, they donated that land to the county
Right.
with
Yeah.
with the intention of building a station there, and they've already
Right.
got a water tank up right there also
Right.
by the
Now,
church there.
But now, District 5, that's on our top road, there's some additional land there that could be available for the installation of a building also.
It could be. They could put it behind it. It's enough room behind it.
Right, it's enough room behind it.
It is.
So there are two different possibilities, is what I was thinking about as I was talking to I was talking to, Kristen.
Yep.
So we need to present one of those as a,
And,
as a
and,
possibility.
and I would say, actually, if you're thinking about the church there at Moore High, that's kind of a tight space, especially if we're gonna put a station up there. It's probably
Right.
better to do it out top. It's more
At
right
our
there.
top. I was thinking the same thing, that we have more space there at our top.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
with
a
your
crossroads.
permission then, if your permission, let's move forward with giving her those sites, that particular site then.
We're talking,
Uh,
we're on it,
yeah.
so we're working together.
Right.
Yes, sir.
But I know she was confused as
I
to
will
whether or
do that.
not that would be a location or not.
Yes,
So
sir.
you would clear that up with
I
her.
will. Yes, sir, I will.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
All right. Anything else from the member?
Oh, no.
That closes out, okay, we got county business. Anything else from my board, Tim? All right, county business supervisor.
I'm good.
I'm good.
You all see on the agenda, of course, they didn't show up here today. Clearwater Group was expected to come.
They'll
I
be
know they're gonna
next
be
meeting.
asking us for some wish list projects, and my wish list projects from the legislature is to get some money for Crawford Road. I know we had talked about their schoolhouse, but I would like for the board to look at the possibility of trying to secure a legislative appropriation of up to $2 million for Crawford Road.
So,
If you all don't have any problem with that. And if we don't, I mean, I can wait till they get here, we can pass the order, but if, I know he's gonna come, and that's what his ask gonna be, what our project is gonna be,
And updates on it.
and update on some things, so whenever he comes, I guess next week. Anything else to come, Supervisor Williams, you got anything?
No, I don't have anything.
Anything else to come to the board before we proceed to close? Adjourn meeting for the month of December,
19th.
19th.